All right, we're live again. Is week one post reaction, instant reaction, guys. Welcome to the Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. All right, if you're subscribed already, you know that. If you're not, this is a good time to subscribe. Hit like, of course. We're gonna be here every day giving you fantasy content. We're gonna go live more than ever. We already did our live show this morning for our patrons. We did our live start to show Saturday evening. You can always join us every week as we break that down. So we're gonna do something new this year. This is a live post-game reaction show, and then also if you have last-minute start-sit decisions that might affect your Sunday night or Monday night lineups, this is the time to ask, because sometimes you're gonna have to pivot, right? You have a guy you've been holding out on, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe you're down big. You need somebody who might give you that upside. Maybe somebody you were questionable on, wasn't sure whether they were gonna play. Whatever the case is, we're here to help. So let's just get it going. Let's start with the first thing, victory laps. I think we should always start with victory laps. Saquon, is that our first one, Chris?
Saquon, look, for those of you who are part of the community and part of the Patreon and know about the Elite Running Back Matrix, the Elite Running Back Matrix identified 5 running backs as the best guys have a chance as the RB1. Saquon, Swift, JT, currently RB1, 2, and 3. Also, Najee, who unfortunately got hurt, wasn't having a big game, got hurt. And the 5th one is Javonte, who hasn't played yet. Huge victory laps for the endgame community who, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I drafted Dalvin Cook, I drafted Alvin Kamara, I drafted Derrick Henry, I drafted these old guys, Austin Eckler, who didn't do anything. Endgame community did not draft those guys, a lot of them. So that's my first victory lap. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, let's talk about wide receivers. Like Justin Jefferson being the overall wide receiver 1, that's not like a big reach, right? But a lot of people like, why would you take him over a running back? Why would you take him over CMC? Why would you take him over Cup? I think you see why. So that's one thing, but also just taking receivers early. Guys, you didn't have to take an Austin Eckler or Dalvin Cook or a Joe Mixon in round 1. We had those guys pushed back a little bit. Even Devontae Adams, I'll say, I know Derek Carr did not have his greatest game, right? Throwing some interceptions, but he was feeding Devontae Adams early and often. So taking receivers, not feeling obligated to take a running back, there's a reason why you can do that. All right. So victory laps, we have some more we'll get to later. Let's now get to the busts. Let's go to the bad beats. Man, there's always going to be plenty of those. All right, Mike Williams.
That doesn't even make sense to me. Keenan Allen got hurt like early in the game. Justin Herbert threw for 1,000 yards and 1,000 touchdowns. Makes no sense to me, but that's kind of, that's what you get with Mike Williams, right? Like next week he'll probably go off for like 40 points. Everybody's gonna freak out and bench him, and the next week he'll go for 40. So it's just kind of what you get with Mike Williams. But that was very surprising for sure.
That's exactly right, because we were kind of bigger on Williams than Allen already. And then when Allen went out, like you think it would be just Mike Williams. He was throwing to DeAndre Carter, not even guys that we know of. And actually, I was surprised at how often they were going to the tight ends and not just Gerald Everett. We thought Everett might be a sneaky good start, and he did. He scored. He got 50-something yards. But they were throwing to Trey McKitty. They were throwing to Xander Horvath. So they're really spreading the ball around. And I don't know if that's good for Mike Williams. Look, it's just one game, but still, you see the offense, Herbert's going to get his. It doesn't always mean Mike Williams is going to get his, though.
Yeah, that's true. Real quick, Tyler jumping in here. Appreciate you, Tyler. The Lions scored 35, but a lot of it was in garbage time when the Eagles were like way, way ahead. I will say this, though. First of all, we were wrong about Amon-Ra. Huge target share. He's an every week have to start guy. That Lions offensive line is really good. Like DeAndre Swift. Yeah. DeAndre Swift was ripping off like 50 yards, 16 yards. Nobody was touching that guy forever. So Swift, you got DeAndre Swift, you got to be feeling really good right now. Probably feeling good about Amon-Ra too.
And that's, exactly right. A lot of times these points can be misleading because it's like, look, they had to throw the ball a ton. Like Matt Ryan came away with a ton of yards. He leading I think might have been the league leader in passing yards. That's because he threw the ball 50 times. And he threw the ball 50 times. They were losing to Houston the whole game. Somehow they managed to tie it, but that is part of it. Like, I'm not worried about Matt Ryan, but that's the thing. Goff, he was not good at all in the first half. He was looking bad. So I'm not putting too much into the Lions scoring points, except that they were getting blown out too, and then they had to come back.
So we're getting a lot of flop. Yeah, that was surprising. Here, okay. It was surprising because it's the Falcons, and he usually dominates and destroys the Falcons. But here's what was really surprising me, and in a I've already got the video mostly filmed. I got to do the afternoon guys for our panic video that's going to be coming out shortly here in like maybe an hour or two. So check it out. A lot of guys on there talking about a lot of guys here, but I do talk about Kamara. The shocking thing to me was Kamara got 9 carries. Ingram and Taysom Hill combined for 8. And Taysom Hill and Ingram each got 2 targets, and Kamara only got 4. If Taysom Hill is part of their run game plan, that's death. That's going to be death for Alvin Kamara, because if Taysom Hill is going to be catching passes out of the backfield, plus Ingram's going to be catching passes out of the backfield, there's not going to be enough for Alvin Kamara. Look, I think we were wrong on MT2. He looked good. Now, granted, it was the Falcons, but now they got Olave, they got Landry, they got Thomas, they got weapons there. I'm very nervous for Alvin Kamara right now going forward. How about you?
Yeah, we were worried about Kamara a little bit going into the season. I backed off on that because it doesn't look like he's getting suspended. But yeah, it was weird. They just didn't use him that much, and I'm not really sure why. It was the Falcons. He should have had a field day.
And they were playing from behind, throwing a lot, and that's when you think like, okay, Kamara's catching a lot of. He wasn't even getting passes. Yeah, I'm very nervous for Kamara.
All right, let's do a couple of victory laps here. Noah saying, I have Devontae, AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, and Saquon all on the same team. All right, how did you do that?
Easy day. That's one of those where like you don't even have to sweat. You can just sit back, enjoy the Sunday night game. It doesn't even matter if your opponent has a player in it. You're like so far ahead, it doesn't even matter. That's always a good feeling.
All right, and then this is what we're talking about. Took Jefferson at number 4. That's pretty good. Over Eckler and Henry.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did that.
Good
job. Glad you did that.
Looking good. I mean, even the Packers have a good secondary. Like, he's not going to face many secondaries as good as Packers, and you just destroyed them. Like, and I really liked he got some matchups against linebackers like the Rams get with Cooper Kupp. That's the Kevin O'Connell influence coming from the Rams. Oh man, Jefferson is going to absolutely smash this year. Smash.
Yep. And the thing is, we saw those elite receivers. Jamar Chase picked up right where he left off. I had no concerns about Jamar Chase. And look, with T. Higgins maybe out at least a week, probably not long term if it's a concussion, but could miss next week. I mean, Jamar Chase, that was looking like a pretty good first-round pick as opposed to some of those other running backs. All right, let's go to the flip side here. Kyle.
Well,
yeah, that's not where you want to be. And look, it was a hard matchup for Chicago with the 49ers defense and in the weather. So Chicago, look, they did not look good, but they didn't look as bad as the 49ers on offense. So, I mean, yeah.
Trey Lance, I don't know what to do with Trey Lance now. I'm hoping it was just the weather and first game, but my goodness, he looked bad, so bad. And with Jimmy G still there, can't be feeling good about Lance right now.
That's what worries me. Look, a quarterback having a bad game, that's fine, especially a young quarterback. It's going to happen, yeah. But if he has another bad game or two, that's the problem. Is I can see him getting the hook. Because as soon as Jimmy G's ready to go, they just signed him to be the highest paid backup quarterback in the league. They didn't do that so he could just sit and take notes with the clipboard. So that's what worries me. All right, trade questions already. I know we do a trade video. It's going to come out in a couple days, but
do not trade. Look, okay, I'm going to assume because it says for Derrick Henry, that usually means you're getting Derrick Henry. But I know sometimes people word it the other way. You do not trade DeAndre Swift right now. Do not trade. He was already one of the guys who had a huge potential to be a breakout top 5, top 1, literally top 1 running back, and he showed all of that in week 1. That's gold. That is fantasy football gold. You do not let go of that. And I think Judy's going to have a good season too. So Swift, do not get rid of Swift and Judy. No way.
Chris, would you even trade Swift just for Henry straight up? Probably not, right?
Henry just ran for 3.9 or 3.8 yards per carry against the Giants. I realize the Giants aren't a horrible defense, but it's not like he was going against the Bucs. He just Henry looks like he might be getting a little dusty if he's not already there. He got the touches, the volume was there, but without the touchdown. And Dontrell Hilliard catching passes, that's going to kill him. He's not going to be a pass catcher at all. No way can you trade DeAndre Swift for Derrick Henry. No way. No way.
No. And he was going to do Swift and Judy, like give him a starting receiver. It's like, no,
don't do that.
Don't do that. All right, here you go. Trade Najee.
I mean, no. I'm still going to say no. Okay, last we heard is he might have avoided it. Like it might be nothing.
Right.
That was we don't have. It's not official. It's not confirmed. But we heard from a beat writer with the Steelers saying the Steelers think he dodged a bullet and he's going to be fine. Now I get he didn't have a great day, but the Steelers really ran very few plays. Right, the defense was forcing a lot of turnovers. They scored a pick six. Like the offense didn't run a lot of plays. Najee didn't get a lot of plays. But here's what I really liked that I saw from Najee today that makes me feel really good about him going forward. I mean, I already felt good about him. He got 2 carries inside the 2-yard line, the 3-yard line, and his touchdown was a receiving touchdown at the goal line. If he gets that kind of red zone opportunity, because he didn't get that kind of red zone opportunity, and he gets his normal work that we expect from him, he could have a huge season. So you can't trade him now because no one's going to give you fair. They all know he's hurt. You're gonna be selling him super low.
Well, that's the thing. If you trade him now, you're trading him at his lowest value. So this is the wrong time to trade him. You know what I mean? This is a good time to buy from a nervous owner. But what do you think about this? Najee going to be health concerned all year? I mean, that was just like a freak thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, like the initial report was possible high ankle sprain, which lots of running backs have had high ankle sprains. It's a very common injury for running backs. I mean, that's what derailed Saquon Barkley in his year 2. But if you remember, if it is a high ankle sprain, the good news is it's early in the season. He might miss 4 to 6 weeks, and it might take a few weeks after that to get back. But if you remember Saquon back his second year, suffered a high ankle sprain in week 3, missed, I think, 4 weeks, kind of struggled for a few weeks, and then was awesome down the stretch and through the fantasy playoffs and helped people win championships. So even if it is a high ankle sprain and he misses the time, yeah, it's going to suck, but he should be back and fully healthy when it matters for the stretch run. So, I mean, like every running back has health concerns. Like every running back has health concerns. They're taking poundings. That's just a job. So, yeah, I mean, if you could trade now, if somebody's willing to give you like overpay for Najee, then sure, do it. But don't trade him out for like pennies on the dollar, especially when his values go up.
No, there's not a major injury concern. If it was a high ankle sprain, that'd be one thing, but it seems like it's not, anything that you should really be worried about. So no. Again, week 1, let's all breathe just a little bit and relax. Now, this one you might need to worry about. Yeah. Elijah Mitchell. All right. So again, we don't have an official diagnosis, but what we're hearing from Twitter doctors who, have never been wrong, is maybe MCL, 4 to 6 weeks kind of thing. At the very least, multiple weeks that he'll be out. So with Mitchell, yeah, you're going to have to make a backup plan. So I'll talk about that, of course, in the waiver wire / injury reaction video. You'll get that tomorrow. But, it looked like it was all Jeff Wilson, right? Like Ty Davis Price, once again, it's like Trey Sermon, Kyle Shanahan's just for some reason doing everything he can to oppose his GM and not play the guys they draft, right? He does not. Davis Price was inactive, didn't even suit up. Jordan Mason, yeah, he made the team. He didn't play, I don't think, or he didn't touch the ball. So it looks like it's just Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, it looks like it's Jeff Wilson. And super chat here from Tyler real quick. Favorite game of the week so far?
Oh, well, mine's easy. That was the Dolphins game.
I think I like that Steelers, like the Steelers Bengals game. It wasn't this great. It was just this crazy, weird, so much crazy stuff happened in that game. I also really like even though I'm not a fan of the Giants, I was just so happy to see Saquon Barkley looking so good, and then to hit that 2-point, like the Titans had that 2-point conversion stopped. They had that play stopped. That little shovel pass to Barkley. He broke the tackle, wasn't going to be denied, scored that touchdown. I think that's Barkley we're going to get all year. We're just going to get it angry, mad, here to destroy everybody Barkley all year. So I like that game a lot too.
And as far as just the game itself, yeah, that Steelers Steelers Bengal game was pretty good. It was back and forth, and so
it was back and forth. They had you thought the Bengals were done, and they came back. You thought they had won, and they blew it. When the Steelers blew it, and then the Bengals blew it, and the Steelers won it. It was crazy.
From a fantasy standpoint, who I enjoyed watching the Eagles because I'm big on them this year. I know a lot of people kind of on that bandwagon, but yeah, seeing Jalen Hurts just doing his thing. AJ Brown, I said it. There you go.
Oh,
They're gonna feed him. I had AJ Brown as a boom. We knew they were gonna feed him. They did. He had a monster game. Unfortunately, getting vultured a little bit with the touchdowns, meaning every single running back on the roster is going to score a touchdown. But
literally every single one. Hurts, Sanders finally scored. Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, I was half expecting Jordan Howard to come on the field and score a half-yard touchdown, but maybe by week 7. So yeah, it was good to see that Philly offense roll. I know it's Detroit, but still, they did their thing.
Yeah, people who are like, Detroit's defense is going to be better than you think. I don't think they're going to be better than we like. No, they're going to be bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Guys, by the way, I mentioned this at the top. If you have a start-sit question for Sunday night, that game's getting ready to start pretty soon, Tampa and Dallas, or Monday. So we do have Broncos and Seahawks. That one's pretty simple, right? Start your Broncos. Maybe don't consider starting any Seahawks, but you never know. It depends. Depends what situation you're at. So if you do have anything you need help with, let us know here. All right, Chris, we got to talk about this. Welcome back to the bus. Taysom Hill.
I mean, here's the thing about Taysom Hill is I think he still has QB eligibility on some sites. Like I think on Sleeper he does. So if you're desperate for a tight end, he looks like he's going to be involved, at least, in the passing game and maybe goal line carries and things like that. But if something happens and he's forced to play quarterback again, you get to play a quarterback as a tight end. So I definitely think in leagues where he still has QB eligibility, and I think on Sleeper he does, if I'm not mistaken, I would at least stash him. Because if he ever becomes the QB, if Jameis Winston left the game today, he's not he could get hurt. I don't know who they have behind him. Ian Book, Trevor Siemian. I don't even know.
They have Andy Dalton. They have Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, that's right. There may come a time this season when Taysom Hill has to play QB, and you could put him in your tight end slot. So, but no, I mean, not.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I wasn't sure, but he does still have quarterback eligibility and tight end on Yahoo, and that's probably the most popular platform. Yahoo, and then of course a lot of our guys use Sleeper. Obviously, you don't want to roll him out there quarterback unless you're in a super flex league, which maybe it's it's risky, but maybe a sneaky move if he runs in for a touchdown. But at tight end, why not?
Yeah,
especially if you need to pivot from Kittle, or Ertz, and guys like that get hurt bye weeks. Yeah, I'll roll him out there. What about David Montgomery? The whole Bears thing. Montgomery was junk. He got Khalil Herbert. Yeah, Khalil Herbert ran that touchdown. Montgomery was still getting more touches, and he was getting the receptions. That's the thing is Herbert, he's not going to have a big floor in these games because he won't catch any passes. And I think Montgomery will be better.
Yeah, Montgomery got way more of the work. I didn't like Montgomery a lot this week because it's the Niners, and their defense is incredible. Herbert did have that a nice run and then got the touchdown, but it was really mostly Montgomery. So I think Montgomery will be fine going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. Herbert does have some value. 9 carries, 45 yards in that touchdown, right? That's all right. But Montgomery, 17 carries, of course, only 26 yards. But he had 3 catches, 24 yards. Herbert only 1 target, 1 catch, -2 yards. So, I mean, it's going to be risky for both those guys just because that Bears offensive line is just not good. But in decent matchups, you can start them. All right, let's see what we got here. Not sure what that means. All right.
Good one from Nate. Who do we think are the least likely players to do what they did in week 1? OJ Howard comes to mind quickly. OJ Howard may not be fantasy relevant the rest of the year, but if for some reason you randomly started this week, congratulations.
I don't know. Look with OJ Howard, honestly, because they don't have a lot, right? They don't have a lot of depth, and at tight end it was Pharaoh Brown starting. I like Brevin Jordan, but apparently he's not ready for prime time. So look, if they like Howard, and wasn't he a first round pick former first rounder, he stood out. Health has been his issue. If he's healthy, I can see him doing it again. I'm
Okay.
not saying he's going to score 2 touchdowns.
He literally had 2 catches. 2.
But he had the ones that mattered.
They were just both touchdowns. Like, it's not like he had like 6 or 7 catches and scored 2 touchdowns. He wasn't involved. He just happened to catch 2 touchdowns. And they were for 30. They weren't even like short, like, here, like, oh, we're at the 3, dump it to OJ Howard. No, they were like long, fairly long touchdowns. Like, that is 100% going to be a fluke. 100% that's going to be a fluke.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to start him here on out, but I'm just saying at the tight end position where, tight end, once you get down past the top 10, it's like touchdown or bust. I mean, he could be like a glorified, Cameron Brate type. Who else is not going to continue the way they did this week?
Dontrell Hilliard.
Dontrell Hilliard.
2 huge touchdowns. I would say him for sure. Devin Duvernay. What the heck? All camp, all we're hearing is, oh, no, he can't even beat out Isaiah Likely for the wide receiver 3 job. And then he goes out there and catches 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that was kind of fluky, and that's also the Jets, just being the Jets. I'd like to think on the other side, Matt Stafford will be a lot better. I don't think the Rams' offensive line is that bad. I think that was the matchup and, being tired from celebrating and all this, whatever. So I think people are burying the Rams a little bit too early. And then let's see.
Devonta Smith, I think, will be better.
Yeah.
I think Darnell Mooney will be better. I think Allen Robinson will be better. We're gonna go on the other side. So, yeah.
Okay, so we got to talk about Etienne.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to take the L on this one. James Robinson looked good. I couldn't believe he looked good. He looked good. I mean, Etienne looked good too. That's the thing I think people are losing in this. Okay, first of all, Trevor Lawrence missed him on a wide open wheel route that would have been like a 20-yard receiving touchdown. And then he dropped another, it was a little high, but he dropped it. That probably would have been another receiving touchdown. If he catches those, people probably aren't even worried right now, right? Because it's like, well, he got me 2 touchdowns. He got me 25 points. I'm not worried about it. But James Robinson he looked actually good. So that definitely worries me going forward. Like, okay, if James Robinson is going to play like this, it's going to be a split. It's going to be a split for sure. Right.
And that's what I was afraid of. And I said this, that Etienne won't get really enough carries to be viable because James Robinson, they still lead back. Guess what? He is a lead back. Etienne had 4 carries. That's it. He only touched the ball on the ground 4 times.
Targets. Yeah. How many did James Robinson have?
11.
Okay. I know Etienne had like 2 or 3 big runs that were called back by penalty. So, okay, yes, James Robinson did outcarry him, but it wasn't as bad as it looked. Because when I looked too and I saw like, what? He only had 4? I freaked out. But I remember watching, because I was watching all the play-by-plays of all the games, and there was a stretch there where Etienne was getting all the work, and James Robinson was even on the field. And he kept getting he'd run, and then it would come back for penalty. He'd run, it would come back for penalty. So, but James Robinson looked good, and even if it's a 50-50 split, that's going to be bad for Etienne. For sure.
Well, that's the thing. 50-50 split, you drafted Etienne in round 3 or 4. He's not going to deliver on that value. Only 4 carries and 4 targets. That's the thing. They threw the ball quite a bit, but it was Christian Kirk, it was Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram had as many targets as Etienne. And so if he's not getting the lead ball carry role and he's not one of the leading receivers, man, and the goal line work is what worries me too. So, yeah, I don't really have that much Etienne, but yeah, I'd be worried a little bit. All right. Well, here's an easy one. Is Sutton capable of 30 points tomorrow? 30 is a lot, but I don't think it's possible.
He's capable. I mean, he's definitely capable. It's probably close to his ceiling. But in this matchup, he could definitely do it.
Agree. All right, here's a trade question. Should I trade T. Higgins and Mark Andrews for Saquon and Pitts?
If you're getting Saquon and Pitts, I would do that. I know Pitts was not good today, but he tied for the team leading targets with 7. Is the Saints, tough defense. I like Higgins a lot, and I like Andrews. But Saquon, another guy who has a real shot to be a top 5, if not the top 1 running back this year. I mean, he looked awesome. He looked like rookie Saquon Barkley. He was fast. He was explosive. He was running people over. He was juking people. He looks all the way back. So I would absolutely do that because I know Andrews didn't have a great game today, but Andrews will be better. But I think Pitts will be better too. So I think that's not as big. I think Barkley will outscore Higgins by quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah, Pitts definitely busted today, but like you said, he got targeted. He'll be fine going forward. So that should be kind of a wash there. Andrews for Pitts. Yeah, you definitely take an elite running back over Higgins, who is a good, but not necessarily wide receiver one week in and week out, regardless of injury. Wow, here's a funny one. This deserves a victory lap. And 50 yen for Miles Sanders, and it worked. Hey, good on you.
You know, sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out.
That's good. Look, I'm not a Miles Sanders guy, and I was ripping him probably more than anybody last year. But I said in this matchup against Detroit, I could see it happening. I could see him making some big runs. I could see him scoring, and he did. Well, so did Gainwell scored and Scott scored, but still, you knew they were going to put up points. They put up points. So good move there. Tyler, back again. Wait, we already did this one.
We did that one.
All right, we did that one. I thought it was another one. All right, winning by 19 right now. 2 to play. I have 3. Am I good or bad? We don't know.
It depends on who it is, but unless it's your kicker and defense, and he has like his quarterback, his wide receiver one, and his RB one, then you're probably okay.
Yeah, it really depends on the players. What about DJ Chark? We had some talk about him in the Discord.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Like, he's probably worth a pickup in his stash, but I mean, Goff wasn't good today, and I don't think Goff's really going to be good. And he got the touchdown, and he'll probably be good in games where like the Lions get blown out, which will probably be a lot of games if we get that garbage time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think with him, because if I'm not wrong, most of his production, if not all, was in the second half, and that's when they were just throwing.
It was all like, look, I'm taking the L on Amon-Ra St. Brown, okay? But all of his production was in garbage time. It was all in garbage time. Like, don't tell me you weren't freaking out about Amon-Ra St. Brown for 3 quarters, okay? And look, garbage time counts. It counts. I'm taking the L. I'm saying it right here on live. I'm taking the L on Amon-Ra St. Brown. But it was all garbage time. So, yeah. Like, same with Chark. It was all garbage time. It wasn't like Swift who was tearing it up the whole game. But they're going to be in garbage time a lot. They're the Lions, so yeah.
He doesn't seem to be in here right now, but there's a certain doctor clapping cheeks who's just loving that, right? Taking the L on Amon-Ra. Yeah, fine. I'll say it too. Like, look, he might be okay to start the rest of the season.
Yeah. We got a super chat, another trade question. Would you trade McLaurin and Edmonds for Swift? If you're getting Swift, yes. Look, McLaurin was okay today. He caught a 49-yard touchdown. Curtis Samuel looks like the guy you actually want in this offense. He got carries. He got tons of targets. Dotson looked awesome. Yeah. McLaurin looks like he's going to be the deep guy, which is good because Wentz can actually throw the deep ball pretty well. But if Samuel's going to get all these targets and Dotson's going to get all these targets, there's not going to be enough for McLaurin to be an every week, like, must-start type of guy. Edmonds played well in real life, but not for fantasy. Swift has top 1 potential. So, yes, I definitely take Swift.
Yeah, it's like, you don't want to get carried away, after one game, one player, but guys who are elite, meaning top 5 fantasy running backs, win leagues. Yeah, Swift, not just right now after this game. All offseason, we were saying Swift was one of those guys, and guess what? He looked like one of those guys. So, yeah, you can take him. McLaurin's like a wide receiver 2. Edmonds is like a low-end running back 2. That's fine, but that's not going to win your league. So, yeah, you definitely would do that.
All right, Danny coming in. Some of our favorite stashes in deep leagues. Well, I'll say after today, this is the thing, because you're on like the same guys we are, but I know a lot of people. And look, Pierre talked about some of these guys on our early waiver. You know what's funny? So I'll give Pierre. Pierre could take the W on this one since you guys are handing us the Amon-Ra loss. He said in that video, grab Josh Palmer. And then I made a short of him saying, grab Josh Palmer. And people literally commented like, Josh Palmer, he's behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Well, but wishing you had grabbed Josh Palmer now because Keenan, who knows how long Keenan's going to miss. Josh Palmer is going to slot into that Keenan role more than likely going forward. he's probably going to be a guy that you have to stash, at least have to stash. Curtis Samuel. Nobody drafted Curtis Samuel this year. Who drafted Curtis Samuel? Nobody. I think I have him in like 2 leagues just because I can't quit Curtis Samuel. He's like a must-add. Now, I mean, you know your waiver wire. Who's some deeper guys?
And that's the thing. When you say stash, right, you're talking about guys you're going to pick up that other people aren't on, or guys that you think are going to go off in the future, right? Not guys for right now. Not your, everyone's going to pick up off the waivers. And so that's why I would still say, even though he didn't touch the ball or do anything, Zamir White down the road is a guy to stash, because he eventually, Josh Jacobs really didn't do a whole lot, right? Didn't do anything inspiring in this game. So guys like that.
Yeah. Then we got another one here from Kyle about Keenan Allen. Can we trust? You talked about it in the beginning. You probably weren't here. Mike Williams is just one of those guys you have to ride the waves. There's going to be weeks like this where you're like, oh, man, it sucks. But we talked about next week, he might go off for 30, 35 points and win you your matchup. You just have to accept it. You just have to say, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because the weeks when he goes off, you win your matchup, right? You win your matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He's always been that way, and he's going to continue to be that way, right? He's going to be up and down. He's kind of a big play, magnet, but also he's not always going to make those plays. He should see more, obviously, a lot more targets now if Allen is out. But I said this at the very beginning, is interesting. We saw the Chargers really spread the ball out a lot more. They're trying to diversify the offense. DeAndre Carter was a guy, I don't know if I'm buying in saying to pick him up on waivers, but they threw the ball to him actually more than Josh Palmer, right? So Palmer should be the guy, but for some reason they went to Carter, I guess because he was open. They threw the ball to these other tight ends, Gerald Everett, but also, with Parham out, they threw it to Trey McKitty. They threw it to like Xander Horvath. They were mixing Josh Kelly in more, giving Austin Eckler a break. So there were a lot more guys who were involved in this game. So that's something to kind of look for. But Williams is still going to be the lead guy there. So just don't expect him to like crush every week, because he's not that type of guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll take the W here for DJ Moore. Less targets than Robbie Anderson. Like, it's not looking okay. First of all, can we all finally agree that Baker Mayfield is not good? He's not good. He's like fumbling snaps, throwing interceptions, getting sacked all over the field. I get it was the Browns. He hit that one play to Robbie Anderson, but Robbie Anderson was literally uncovered. Like nobody was even like, they forgot Robbie Anderson was on the field, which, I get. He didn't really do anything last year, so it's easy to forget about him. But it's not a QB upgrade for DJ Moore. And if Baker Mayfield is looking to Robbie Anderson more than DJ Moore, oh, man, it's going to be a really long season if you draft DJ Moore again. So, yeah, not feeling good. I definitely should be worried.
Yeah, nobody saw that. Anderson leading the team in targets. Nobody saw that coming. So I wouldn't put any stock into it. I wouldn't go out and start buying Robbie Anderson.
Well, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, no.
But it just probably means DJ Moore isn't going to break out again this year. Like, it's them not going to be year 5 or whatever he's in is not going to be his breakout year more than likely, because Baker Mayfield wasn't good. And if Robbie Anderson is going to be, even if it's going to be DJ Moore getting more of the targets week to week, if Robbie Anderson is getting that many targets, it's not enough. Oh, here's a question. We got a super chat for you. What do we do with Cam Akers? What do we do?
Look, you don't drop him as much as you're tempted to. You can't rage drop, right? Unless you're in a really, really shallow league. But even in an 18 league, I think just keep him. If you trade him, again, what are you getting? You're trading at his absolute lowest value. So that's not going to help you unless somebody is willing to give you way too much for him. But just hold, wait and see. I already said this earlier, giving him one more week. Chris, we're giving him one more week. And then we'll see what happens. Hey, James Robinson, Sterling Shepard, maybe the Achilles thing, right?
Maybe, but we got to see it from Akers first. But I'll say this. Yeah, I agree. You have to hold him. You can't trade him, because what are you going to get? Don't drop him, because if at some point he takes over, you're going to regret it. But I'll say this. In the one league where I do have Dameon Pierce, I drafted him as my RB2 like in the 8th or 9th round, because we started with Swift in the 2nd, and then we waited. We have Darrell Henderson on the bench. I am starting Darrell Henderson next week. Not Damian Pierce, like, no. Oh my gosh. Rex Burkhead's backup? Oh man, terrible for him. So I will start Darrell Henderson next week against Falcons fairly confidently.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't any Damian Pierce tilting questions, but we didn't jump on Pierce too much, so I think a lot of our community really doesn't have a lot of Pierce because, I get it. Having him fine. I took him in a couple of best ball leagues, but I think maybe one redraft league because he fell. But yeah, Pierce again. He's a rookie, week 1. We'll see. Maybe they just want to give him more time to get comfortable. Maybe they didn't think it was a good fit against the Colts. Who knows? But yeah. All right. Here's a question I just saw. Where was it? We got to knock this out. Tyler, it's definitely sudden. I feel like it's a test for Chris just to see his reaction, but yeah, it's definitely sudden.
Definitely sudden. Yeah, don't put Zeke in tonight, please.
Bus with some inside info here.
Okay, that was actually a funny story about this actually. So I've got Red Zone on my TV, but then on my computer I have literally every game, but just the play-by-play. So I can see who's getting you got to carry, you got whatever, right? And I see it, and it says Baker Mayfield fumbles, recovered by Christian McCaffrey for 28 yards. I'm like, that can't be right. And then they showed it on Red Zone. I'm like, what the? I'm like Baker Mayfield's his 2 best plays was a 75-yard touchdown. Well, I guess it's 3. The 75-yard touchdown to Robbie Anderson, his run for the touchdown, and then a fumble that CMC turned into a 28-yard game. Those were his 3 points, his 3 best plays.
All right, so here's one. How do you feel about Donovan Peoples-Jones' target share?
That was crazy. Again, I'm watching the play-by-plays, and it's Jacoby Brissett incomplete to Donovan Peoples. How many catches did Peoples-Jones even have a catch? It seemed like every time I looked, it was incomplete to Donovan Peoples-Jones, incomplete to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, that was really weird because Cooper, I think, only got 3 targets. Is that right? Cooper
no, he had 3 catches. He had 6 targets.
Okay, 6 targets, but only 3 catches. And Njoku, geez, get rid of that guy. That didn't work out. But yeah, that was really strange to me. Really strange. Didn't expect that. So, to Danny, if you're still watching, a deep stash, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones, because it seems like Brissett at least is going to target him a bunch.
Yeah, look, he's a quality receiver. I think, I can't wait till he actually gets an upgraded quarterback. I think he could be really good. I didn't think Brissett would target him specifically that much, especially that much more than Cooper. But yeah, I've been a pretty big fan of DPJ, so I think it does mean something, in this case. Mm-hmm. How do we think Godwin will play? Not very well.
Sparingly. Very sparingly. If he even sees the field, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just on the sideline. Maybe he's out there for a few snaps, but I don't really understand why he's even active tonight. The Bucs can lose week 1 and be fine, But I guess he'll be out there. But I would not start Chris Godwin this week. No way.
No, for sure this week. I mean, depending how he looks, maybe not next week. He's not going to be 100%, probably till mid-season. That's why I'm not just me making that up. I've seen, actual PhD medical doctors saying this, that he got injured. Was it week 16? Was week 17? What was it?
Yeah, and here's the perfect example. And maybe Sutton tomorrow night will be the perfect wide receiver example. A guy who tore his ACL the year before and really struggled last year. Saquon looked terrible last year. The Saquon we saw today looked way different than that Saquon. Why? Because he's fully back from the ACL. It doesn't just happen in 6 months or 8 months or whatever it is. So I think this is one we have to cover on, though. We want to talk about another deep stash, Danny, if you're still here. Kyle Phillips. I think he had 9 targets, 6 catches, 66 yards. He looks like a big part of the offense. I mean,
I said it. Look, it's a little early for a victory lap on that. But look, I told you, Kyle Phillips, you could tell there was a chemistry building between those guys while Burks was out, struggling in minicamp. And look, Burks will be fine, but that's the kind of receiver that Tannehill is going to target more. That guy across the middle, right? Tannehill isn't a guy who loves to throw deep, loves to hit those wideouts. He loves slot receivers, okay? He's going to target Phillips a ton all year long. That's why I was on Phillips. So, yeah, I definitely believe in him. So, glad you brought that up.
Okay, this is another one I got to bring up. I think it's really important. Because I know the narrative all off season was, oh my God, Aaron Jones with no Devontae Adams, he just smashes. And I kept telling people, stop listening to it. It's lazy. There's no context behind it. Now, I did think Aaron Jones was going to be good this week because there was no Adams and no Lazard. But what did we see? Dylan, 5 catches. Aaron Jones, 3. Dylan, more targets. Dylan, the goal line work. Dylan, the early down work. This is bad news for Aaron Jones. Very bad. I know Aaron Jones still scored like 10 fantasy points, so he didn't kill you this week. But if A.J. Dillon is going to be the early down guy and the goal line guy, and he's going to get potentially more or as many targets as Aaron Jones, that doesn't leave a lot for Aaron Jones. So I'm very, very nervous about Aaron Jones right now. Feeling great about A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised that Dylan did what he did, and that was an amazing game. But the fact that he got that many targets and whatever, surprised. Aaron Jones looked good. He was fast. He made big runs. Like, why didn't they target him more? Why didn't give him the ball more? I don't know. So that's kind of curious. But yeah, Dylan, definitely a better draft value. That's what we were saying all year. It's not that we were worried about Aaron Jones saying don't draft him, but I think we both kept saying, like, if you're going to pick one, you might as well draft A.J. Dillon in round 6 or 7 as opposed to Aaron Jones in round 3. And that definitely looked like a smarter move.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, here's a little nugget for you. Kyle Phillips had the highest target share of any rookie this week. That's pretty interesting considering he has a rookie wide receiver on his own team, Treylon Burks, and he out-targeted him. That's definitely noteworthy. I will say Wan'Dale Robinson was totally going to smash until he got hurt. So we'll never know.
It's really shocking that 150-pound wide receiver soaking wet got hurt, but it happens.
Once in a while, you get surprised.
I think we should go over this one because I'm sure I don't think you should be worried about these guys.
He didn't get hurt. You should be happy.
Yeah, and he looked great when he got the ball. I definitely wouldn't be worried about these guys. No, it's week 1. Don't be worried about them. They'll be fine.
I think you can be worried about the Carolina offense in general, and you should worry about DJ Moore, but no, I'm not worried about CMC. Maybe he won't be the CMC from a couple years ago that just obliterated fantasy, but he's still worth a first-round pick as long as he's healthy. So I think he'll be fine.
We talk about the Patriots backfield?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's talk about that, right? I'll talk about that.
All right. Smooth Kenny G. All right. Look, we've been back and forth about this, and it's probably going to be strictly a split. It made it sound like Stevenson was going to get more of the work. And like, Chris, you kind of predicted, it's still Damian Harris leading the way. It was still Damian Harris technically leading the way. It was 9 carries for Harris, 8 to Stevenson. Harris actually got more yards, so he was better than Stevenson. And somehow Harris not only caught 1 but 2 passes, so he caught just as many passes as Stevenson. So it's the same thing. It's like last year, right? It's like almost 50-50.
Here's the thing that worries me for Stevenson. Here's the thing that worries me for everybody. Ty Montgomery, who I said I think he's going to be more of the pass catching back, 4 targets, which was equal to Harris and Stevenson combined. So he got 50% of the running back targets, and he had a target close to the goal line, which he scored on. So if Stevenson and Harris are splitting the early down, but Montgomery is getting the bulk of the receiving down work, I don't know you can really feel good about any of these guys right now. Like, this is a true three-back committee, right? Where, Harris and Stevenson share the early down and get some catches, but then Ty Montgomery is primarily the pass catching back. Like, not really feeling good about anybody in this backfield right now.
Well, that's the thing is I think they're both good running backs, and obviously Patriots still have a good offensive line. I just don't know if you can feel great about the Patriots offense in general putting up that many points because the passing game was not effective. Mac Jones is not it. Like, he's serviceable as a starter, but he's not anything special. I never thought he was. Their wide receiver group, again, not anything special. Like, Jacoby Myers is okay, but there's nobody who's going to keep the chains moving. They're going to depend on that running game. And so that's the thing. If they don't get a really soft run defense, you got to worry about the Patriots, just in general. I think both those guys are going to be just real up and down spotting. And a lot of them are going to be touchdown dependent because neither one is going to be a true pass catching back. Like Chris just said, Ty Montgomery going to be the guy who catches passes out of the backfield, and that offense isn't going to run a ton of plays. So I would probably roll out either Harris or Stevenson when it's a good matchup based on the run defense, or you feel like they have touchdown upside, or you just have nobody better.
I think we should talk about this one. Will Thomas and Barkley continue at this level?
I hope Barkley does.
Look, Barkley obviously is not going to continue at this level. He's not going to average 30-something points a game or whatever he did today.
Yeah.
But you can't take away anything but positive from what you saw from Saquon Barkley today. It wasn't like he fell into it. He looked awesome. He looked explosive, big runs, involved in the passing game. I mean, everything you wanted to see from Saquon Barkley was there. I'll take the L on Michael Thomas. He definitely was more involved, and he looked better than I thought. But he scored 2 touchdowns in garbage time. He had 5 catches for 57 yards. It's 10 yards a catch. That's not going to be very good most weeks, right? On the weeks when he doesn't score or doesn't catch double-digit passes, he's not going to give you a lot. So I feel better about Barkley continuing at this level. Not that he's going to be able to continue at this level, because that would be like CMC great fantasy level. But Thomas is probably going to be more volatile because, again, Landry got involved, Olave got involved, and he wasn't catching, like, his passes were, all his receptions were short, little, like, quick things. And there's just not going to be enough of that in this offense, like, when he was catching, 170 passes or whatever it was that 1 year. So I still think he'll be good, though. And probably for where you drafted him, he'll probably be just fine.
Look, has anybody mentioned that Jarvis Landry had twice as many yards as him? Yeah. That he was the main target? I mean, no, because he didn't get in the end zone, and Michael Thomas did. Michael Thomas will be more the red zone threat. That just makes sense, but he's not going to score 2 touchdowns every week. So I think Thomas, he can be fine. You can start him, but you know what? He's not ever going to be what he was, back in 2019. So I think Thomas will be fine. Yeah, I guess you could have drafted him at some point and played him.
I'll say this, because we got a trade video coming out in a few days, or no, tomorrow, probably like later in the day. He might be on there. I won't tell you which side, because we do some buy lows and some sell highs, but he might be on there. We'll see.
All right, I'm talking about Pacheco, Isaiah Pacheco, and it's funny because you see that garbage time touchdown, and then, of course, that's just so much confirmation bias for everyone who drafted him, right? But it was a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah. See, you know what's going to happen? CEH is going to break out.
I don't know about that.
You got
a lot more convincing.
You got goal line looks. You got goal line targets. Oh man, it was beautiful.
Let me see. What did CEH do? 7 carries for 42 yards.
He's not going to be a carry monster. What did he got? But he also got 3 catches, 32 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, both near the goal line.
It's the touchdowns, right? He scored touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't know, but look, you want to read into this, then that's fine. You can say, well, Pacheco's the leading ball carrier because he carried the ball more and he got more yards in the ground.
Yeah, he took the starters out.
But exactly. So I'm not reading too much into it. Arizona just laid down. I mean, they looked flat from the beginning. And we knew the offense might struggle because they were missing, Hopkins, missing Moore, Ertz not 100%. But the defense just did not show up.
Does Kingsbury make it through the season?
No, he shouldn't even started the season. Kingsbury will be the first coach fired. Maybe Matt Rule, but Kingsbury should be first.
Man, they look uninspired. They didn't care. That is terrible. Here you go. How are the Chiefs better without Tyreek? I don't think it was the Chiefs are better. I think people that were worried about Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill, we can relax. I think Patrick Mahomes will be. What do you have? 5 touchdowns today. I think he'll be okay with or without Tyreek Hill. I think he'll be fine.
And this what's funny is if people can't separate it. It's like, look, it is possible for Mahomes to be just as good without Tyreek Hill, and for Tyreek Hill to be just as good without Mahomes. Because guess what? Tyreek Hill had a big game with Tua, and he's just every bit of the same good wide receiver. He's still the fastest guy in the NFL. He's still an elite receiver. So, Mahomes didn't need him, obviously. He still has Travis Kelce. And by the way, Travis Kelce, still tight end 1. I kind of had a feeling that he would be the guy he falls back to. But look, Juju put up numbers. At least in this game he did, right? He looks like he might be the lead receiver. Nobody else really is going to stand out, I think. Hardman scored a touchdown, but whatever. Everybody scored a touchdown in this game. So, yeah, Mahomes and the Chiefs will be just fine because it's not about one player. It's about the system. So,
yeah. Then I was impressed. He tied Pitts for the team leading targets. He looked pretty good, made some nice catches. So, I think if you drafted Drake London, you should be feeling pretty good right now. You're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I was skeptical on London. He did look good. I was surprised how much he got targeted. I really thought Pitts, even though he did get targeted 7 times, only caught 2. I think the Mariota Pitts connection needs to strengthen a little bit. I'm glad that he's focusing on his, wide receiver. Maybe because they thought Pitts would get so much attention that they made a point of going to London, or maybe the Saints just took him out of the game plan. Maybe that was what it is. Saints are a good defensive team. But anyways, London did look pretty good. I just hope he holds up throughout the season. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, here's the thing.
Adams was great today. Rodgers, not
Aaron
so
Rodgers, I don't know, man, because you know how he is, and when he doesn't have his guy, and who is his guy? Does he have a guy? Don't tell me when Lazard comes back, all of a sudden he's going to be magnificent.
It was right there for Watson to be the guy, wide open, 75-yard touchdown, and what happened? Didn't make the catch.
We didn't hear anything about him with the drops all off preseason. Like, he didn't have drop issues, in college. I mean,
now Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm not throwing to that guy anymore. Nope, you just lost my trust. You're out. So, my worry for Aaron Rodgers, and I talked about this, I remember Young Money and I argued about this during a mock draft. I said, I think they're going to run the ball more. They're not going to be like a really pass-heavy team. And even today, in a game where they were losing a bunch, they didn't throw it 40, 50 times. And B, I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to be that interested in playing football this year now. His whole thing with coming back was okay, I'm going to have Devontae Adams back. We're going to be good. We have a chance. I wonder how much he's really in on this season right now. But at the same time, he was terrible week 1 last year, and then they turned it around. So we can't completely write him off yet.
No, it's 1 week. He's pretty good at quarterbacking, so we'll see what happens. But I wasn't worried last year after week 1 with Aaron Rodgers. A little worried this year, but I have him ranked much lower. All right, here, how about something good? What about Dotson?
Oh wow, how good did he look? I mean, that second touchdown catch, it was amazing. And he looks. This is one camp hype guy who paid off, right? Where we heard hype all camp. He looks great. He's catching everything, and he paid off. And that's why I was saying earlier. I'm sure some of you missed it. Weren't on yet. It's not just that Terry McLaurin has to deal with Carson Wentz. He now has to deal with a healthy Curtis Samuel and Dotson. This isn't going to just be Terry McLaurin getting all the targets. So, Dotson, if he's on your waiver wire, he's got to be a must-add now. It's got to be a must-add for sure.
Yes, definitely. He was getting a lot of hype this preseason. They're saying the guy doesn't drop passes, and you saw that. You saw that second touchdown, like you said. That was not an easy one. He went and got it. This is a guy definitely worth adding. All right, same division, maybe not so exciting. Thoughts on the Giants wide receivers? Look, a lot of people are saying, give Tony the ball. But look, Tony, when he's out there, he's just running around in circles. I don't think he really has a firm grasp of the playbook.
No, and he's not a route runner. He doesn't know how to run routes. You and I have reception perception. He was terrible route runner. Kenny Golladay can't separate. Shepard did hit that one huge touchdown, but really, look, there's 2 reasons I think we were both so high on Saquon Barkley. Number 1, off a full year off the ACL, right? We've talked about that a lot. But number 2 was this passing game is going to be terrible. They have no receivers. They have no passing game. It's going to be all Saquon Barkley. And what did we see? Outside of that huge Sterling Shepard touchdown, it was all Saquon Barkley. And it's going to be all Saquon Barkley all year because they don't have weapons in the passing game. They just don't. And they have Daniel Jones. So my thought on the Giants wide receivers is I will never start one. I will never start one. I just won't.
Yeah, we didn't get to see Wan'Dale Robinson in action because he got hurt early. Tony, I'm not taking the plunge there because, you're going to get burnt more often than not. I've always thought Sterling Shepard was an underrated receiver, but the problem is, what can he really do in this offense with Daniel Jones at quarterback? I mean, he did make that one big play. He got behind the defender. That's not going to happen every week. So I don't mind Shepard as kind of like a fifth receiver on your bench. You can plug him in once in a while, but yeah, I would stay away from this pass offense.
Just Daniel Jones is so bad. So bad.
All right, looks like it's almost kickoff time for that Sunday night game, guys. Any other questions as far as lineups? I know anybody else want to talk about some last minute wins you got, some big hype, anything else you got going on?
Danny taking the W on London for sure. He was all over Drake London this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think everybody except the people who played against him this week are glad to see Barkley back. That was great. That was great. Yes, join the Discord. Get the Matrix. The Matrix said draft JT, Najee, Swift, Saquon, and then we'll see what Javonte does. But JT, Swift, and Saquon currently your RB 1, 2, and 3. But it's too late for the Matrix because we already had draft. But definitely join the Discord and subscribe and like. And don't forget, we'll be back Tuesday evening at some time. I don't know if we've locked in the time yet, but at some time to help you with like waiver wires and trades and even maybe more start sit. So subscribe so you know when we're online, because we're going to be online a lot this year. That's the plan.
That's the plan. And of course, waiver wire video, panic video, everyone's favorite, and
coming out shortly here, like a halftime.
Yeah.
Your halftime viewing will be the panic video.
There you go. It's coming out any second now. So who to panic about? Chris will tell you who you should be panicked about, maybe who you should pump the brakes on. Of course, all those big names, kind of what we talked about. I said waiver wire, injury updates, trades, and of course, your favorite to start sit. And then we'll see you guys again live on Tuesday night.
Well, I don't want Co-Fizzle to feel ignored real quick. Who should I be starting? So T. Higgins, Hollywood Brown, Gabe Davis, Gallup, Courtland Sutton, Dotson. Who should I be starting in every week? You mean? I mean, well, I think Sutton and Gabe Davis. I still go Sutton, Davis, and Brown.
Sutton, Davis, and Brown. Like next week, you won't have to worry about starting T. Higgins because he probably won't play, and even if he does, you can just forget him. I wouldn't be putting Dotson in it over any of those guys just yet. Look, we'll see what Sutton does, but I have a feeling it'll be pretty good tomorrow. Gabe Davis was pretty good. Hollywood Brown definitely for the first few weeks, especially. So I agree. We'll go to those three guys.
Yeah. All right, now we can sit back because the game's about to kick off, so we gotta go watch more football.
All right, more football. And guys, by the way, you want more football. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. If you want even more from what we give, join us on Patreon. You can get exclusive Start Sit Show we did this morning with our patrons on Sunday morning, weekly rankings, all sorts of other stuff. And
Matrix, I would have told you which running backs to draft, and you wouldn't be sitting here wishing you had drafted them. You would have them on your team.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, guys. Good luck in the rest of week 1.